Saint Thomas Aquinas by Salman Ali, Bilal Karni, and Sabur Ahmed. Part 1. Contributing Factors and Influences. Saint Thomas Aquinas was an Italian philosopher who was born in 1225 AD, which was in the medieval times. Aquinas was an author, professor, and practiced Christian beliefs while Roman Catholicism were common in the present day. Thomas Aquinas wrote a book called the Summa Theologica, which was a book that incorporated Aristotle and Plato's ideologies about natural law into the idea of theocracies. After he practiced his theologies, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism were looked as religions that not only seeked their wisdom from God, but also looked at humanitarian perspectives of life and how people should be treated amongst common morals. His beliefs brought him great fame, which ended in him being ordained priest of Paris in 1250. His role as priest was able to contort the minds of several individuals, resulting in the majority of Christians to follow him rather than follow the Roman beliefs, as they were seen to be misguided, for their beliefs of different gods was far different from what the church had believed. 1225, which was during the time of the medieval times, was also during the time where the Dark Ages were to have ended. The Dark Age was a historical periodization in which the fall of the Roman Empire resulted in Western Europe to become split between those who believed in the Romans and those who followed the Church. This also meant that majority of the population of Western Europe was illiterate and uneducated due to the people's lives being solely focused on either the beliefs of the Romans or Christianity, and not about the well-beings of humans as a whole. Due to St. Thomas Aquinas' ideologies, people began to see that being moral with humans and treating others is beneficial not only for an individual, but for the good of society. This resulted in approximately 70% of Western Europe to follow the Church and their beliefs, as people thought that this was the most humane way to live. This is when scholasticism became a part of religion, which we will discuss later on, and other people's lives, as they noticed the importance of education.
2. Legal ideology. St. Thomas Aquinas was a natural law theorist. His legal thoughts built off of the teachings of Greek philosophers such as Aristotle and Plato. However, due to the negative outlook on the pagans' beliefs, Aquinas amended the philosophies to better suit a mainly Christian society. Aquinas defined three main kinds of law: eternal law, natural law, and positive law. To begin, eternal law consisted of the body of laws by which God created the universe and keeps it in operation. This type of law exists outside of time, is constant, and cannot be fully understood by man, since we are far too inferior to understand God's reasoning. Moving forward, Aquinas defined natural law as the participation in the eternal law by the rational creature. Natural law is considered to be an extension of eternal law, for natural law is merely the application of eternal law, which provides humans with the natural inclination for goodness. An example would be, parents should care for their children. The last kind of law that Aquinas identified is positive law. Positive law is divided into two parts: divine positive law and human positive law. Divine positive law is weaved into eternal law as well, since it describes the laws that were revealed through scriptures. For example, the Ten Commandments in the Old Testament and the Sermon on the Mount in the New Testament. Secondly, human positive law was defined by Aquinas as the set of laws made by humans for the proper functioning of the state and society. Aquinas stated that an unjust human law is that which either goes against divine law or is inhumane to the people that are being governed. In addition to the ideas that he contributed, Aquinas was a firm believer of scholasticism, a method of critical thought which dominated teachings by the academics of medieval universities. Scholasticism is a method of learning which places a high emphasis on dialectical reasoning and inferencing. Currently, the political and legal ideas put forth by St. Thomas Aquinas have become known as a philosophical school of thought called Thomism. Thomism laid the foundation for human law to be moral and not to interfere with the divine purpose of God. This belief is implemented primarily in many of the world's modern theological states.